Hurry up.
Hey, good morning. I just had a quick thought and I just wanted to drop something on y'all real quick that was heavy on my mind. And it was kind of really just kind of the point was really nailed in. It's always been something I've believed in, something I've always thought of. But I always have my own philosophy. People know me, know very well, know how I think, how I operate. I believe is right, what's wrong is wrong. It's just that simple. And everything else in between is really the whole my truth thing is nothing more than people who would like to impose their way and look and gloss over what's right and what's wrong. So there's only one truth, which is the truth, and everything else in between is just a perspective that you would like to put forth to justify your actions. So does that have anything to do with what I'm talking about right now? Just a little tidbit. I'm not going to talk about my favorite thing, which is amusing times and bounce house and inflatables and my journey in the bounce house business. But something that's really, well, I guess you can kind of say what I'm about to talk about kind of relates to it, because many would-be people in any industry, any business, whether you want to be an attorney, a doctor, you want to be in the event rental space, anything, any business. It starts with a journey, starts with a foundation, starts with a basis, and with a strong foundation comes great success, really. I mean, it's like building a house. You can't start with the walls. You have to start with the base. You got to start with the bottom. You got to start with that strong structural foundation, so that when we start to build the walls and build everything up to the roof, it can withstand virtually anything, especially if you build it right. So, I'm going to be borrowing this analogy from something I saw a couple days ago that really hammered home what my own personal thoughts were in the first place. And that is, people's thought process in only way a person should be able to succeed is if they come up from the mud. And as he put it, we glorify coming up from the mud. We glorify coming up and we did the work and through sacrifice and hard work. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. So it's glorified. Some of the most successful people have been given the game. And because they've been given the game in such a manner that the struggle that they would have had to go on through, they cut years, if not decades, off of what it is they had to do. So now they are in the position they're in. So to go back to the analogy that I'm talking about. So let's take a group of five, a family of five people, generation after generation after generation. You take 5 generations of people. You take this generation over here, take this generation over there, and you put up building blocks. Now, our people, you take those building blocks, you take that first generation, and what they'll do, just like everybody does, they'll start building on that foundation. What is your means of success? What do you believe is successful? Well, first you gotta have a strong foundation, which is everybody's belief system. So they'll go ahead and they'll take their building blocks and they'll put them up there and they'll start building this strong foundation. Every block's firmly on the table and lined up and everything like that. And they have a time limit to do it because your life is limited. You don't have forever to build your kingdom, if you will. And so after, say, a minute, 60 seconds, you get your foundation built. So your foundation is built. It's built. 60 seconds is up. Boom. Your foundation is built. It's on to the next generation. However, all you built was a foundation. So it's wipe it away. Next person comes up, they do the exact same thing. 60 seconds up, they build the foundation, wipe it away. So on and so forth, all the way to the fifth person. Fifth person does the same thing because they have been taught culturally that this is how you start, that you start from the bottom and you build your foundation and you grow, and so it's a wonderful rags to riches story, and it's great for the movies, but in reality, it is not the way to go. So let's go to the next family who has come up under a different cultural belief. So we start off with their first generation. Their first generation starts off, they build a great foundation. However, they start building blocks on top of the foundation within that 60 seconds. So now they don't have the first layer, but they have 2 layers. All right, 60 seconds up, boom. They got 2 layers now. So they didn't just start they didn't have just the foundation, but they now grew it. Foundation, growth. So now they have growth involved. So now what they pass on to the next person is growth. They've shown them what a foundation looks like, and they've now shown them what growth looks like. So when the next generation comes along and they start doing it, they say, well, shoot, the foundation is gravy, and I got something to build on because I see the growth. So now based upon this person's foundation, this person's growth, I'm going to start growing on top of that, making that first step of growth even stronger, making my growth. And so now so before you know it, now you got 4 layers. Boom, you're out the way. And the same thing goes on and on and on because they believe that you build your foundation strong enough to hold up. And then they show the fruits of that foundation and its growth, that they now pass that on, pass that on, pass that on, generation to generation to generation. So now that generation believes in not making the other person suffer so much, but giving them the game. Because it isn't about them struggling like you, because if you are real about your family, you want them to do better than you. Like my kids, they are way ahead of the game than I have ever been in my life. In anything that I know, I'm gonna pass it on to them. Anything, any knowledge, anything you want to know. And if I was a millionaire, they would not be struggling on stage 1. They would not. They would not struggle on stage 1. They must stay with stage 3, but I would give them the game of stage 1, stage 2. I would give them the game. I would let them know firmly this is how it works. And I would put them in the trenches while they're growing on and expounding upon my successes to actually understand that this is how it goes to not lose your foundation and to grow. But for some reason or other, we believe everybody must dig ditches before they get riches, which the most successful people on this planet, the most powerful people on this planet, let's put it this way, didn't start subterranean. They've learned where everything operates subternally. They've learned it so they can understand it. And they may have done a little work in it so they can really understand what people at that level do to accomplish what they do. However, they stood on the shoulders, like the famous phrase that I love in Jurassic Park. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses, and now you have this, which is what should happen. You stand on the shoulder of geniuses because you cannot and should not be the smartest person in the room, but because now you bring another element to the game, you can now take that genius and expound upon that genius to bring about even better things, better product, better services, better whatever the case may be, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So the moral of this whole story is you have to get out of this mentality that the glorification of digging ditches and getting to your riches is the best thing on the planet. And oh, look at me because I did it. True enough. Look at me, I did it. And if I can do it, you can too. But if you got people, who are really showing you they have the tenacity, they have the drive, they have the determination, and they have the ability, why would you not share your gifts and not share your struggle and show them and save them steps? And that goes right back to my thing about having a mentor. A mentor has gone through things, struggles and pains, you know, that they tell you things because they want to save you them steps. They want to save them for you. Why is it that you go and get instructional books? Why? You get instructional books because they save you steps instead of you fumbling around and trying to figure it out. Why do you even have textbooks? Instead of just going into your head and trying to figure out how does this work, you have something that teaches you. It's the exact same thing that happens when you have people in your life who have made it, and you see them every day. You see them. Some relatives you don't, but you know their success. You know their success story. And if you ask them a question, it's almost as if you're asking them to fully fund your project or to sacrifice the money that they have. That it's, in other words, it's like there's not enough money in here for all of us, so just let me have it. And if you go get it, then cool, but I can't give you the game. Small backstory, the reason why I can speak personally about this is because I spent my entire life. I had an uncle who was very successful in the music business. Very, very successful. The man had beautiful homes, and he was an extremely intelligent man. And he owned a recording studio. And as you know me by now, Music Times isn't my first love. Music is my very, 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 very first love. Then bodybuilding. This right here is just a passion that's just blown my mind that I love so much. But I remember, because I've been singing since I could talk, and I just took a chance. It was like, hey, if I send you this tape, will you listen to it and you tell me what you think, and you tell me what I need to do. Well, mind you, he's recorded, his studio has recorded some of the famous people, famous people, not people you haven't heard. I mean, really famous artists. And he sent me a response back, and I can't remember it verbatim, but the gist of it was, you have great potential. Keep working on it. This is a man who has the inside game, inside scoop. He knows the steps. He knows famous people. He can put you in the room, because he can't make you sing. He can't make you practice. He can't make you do anything, but he could tell you everything it took for him to get to where he is, and talk to people, and not so much say, hey, this is my nephew, so you got to put him on. No, but he has so much information. He gone now. And not one of us has that information. Not one of us. He took it with him. It's the same thing that the quote says, that the richest, most powerful, most intelligent, most artistic, most everything on the planet is in the graveyard of people who have taken some of the best works with them and not shared it. Because let's face it, folks, you didn't get what you got because you just that good. God blesses us with gifts in different areas and different arenas. And that gift is not yours. That gift is yours to share. That gift is for people to continue to grow this world. And if you keep it to yourself, you just dishonoring God, because you ain't the guy. God can use anybody, but he gave you something to share. And especially your own. So I'm gonna kind of squelch this conversation right here and right now, because it does hold a deep passion for me. Because, I have never been a person like, I was in fitness, and people say, well, if I ask you so and so and such and such, will you tell me yes? Well, how did you get this job? I did this. Step by step by step by step. I would never tell somebody, well, man, I worked hard and I studied, and if you do it, you can. If I do it, you can do it too. It's you shortchanging people and you could shave years off a person's life. And then you get to work and people complain, oh, this person got this job because of so and so. So okay. They're trying to shave years off of their kids' lives so that their kids can now do that and shave years off of their kids' life and so on and so forth. There goes that generational wealth, folks. You got to shave the years off, and not to mention the years off of it, but the growth and expansion of our humanity. You should not expect everybody to start from ground zero. Put some wings under your people, folks. Put some wings on it, and then you step back and watch them soar. And you might realize something. What you give that person and they start flying might pull you up because you were like, I didn't even think about it that way. And even though I've been in this game for 30, 40 years, I could take mine to another level. So that's my take on it. Like I said, it's always been my mentality, but it really brought it into focus when I saw this pastor put it this way. And I pray that people who aren't so selfish to start believing and understanding that it is okay to help your people. Now, what a person does with it, now that's on them. But, especially those who are trying. So I'm starting for the mud. I pray God I know he has put the resources and the ability in me. And I pray that mentors keep stepping my way like Alex has been doing. And, the funny people like Jana and Nick and Reginald and, so many other folks, almost everybody I talk to in this business that I'm in currently. I pray that what I've had to get from external sources, you get from personal sources. You should be getting them from personal sources before external sources. You get me?